This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and the Becker Business Podcast. We are thrilled today to be joined by an incredible leader, and an incredible CEO, Matt Litzelfelner. And Matt, I've known through his career and is just an incredibly gifted and good principled person. He recently bought a business, A1 Towing, and I believe is building an auto shop as well. And he'll tell us a lot more. We're featuring Matt this week as our small business of the month. But the reality is, Matt is a small business leader now, but we expect great things, and he's already having great results. Matt, can you take a moment and tell us about what you're doing and about your background?
Sure, absolutely. Well, Scott, thanks for having me today. My background, I come from the accounting industry. So I started with my career, got my CPA, and really went into public accounting as an auditor and built my career that way. And through my entire career path, I've really focused on service industry related businesses. So whether that be IT consulting, medical billing, healthcare, RCM practices, the legal services, all of that was really focused around me really enjoying working with people and growing the service industry. And I had the opportunity recently to purchase a company called A1 Towing, which you alluded to, and providing a service of how I like to describe it as a rescue business, helping people on the side of the roads when they're in need of help, and also recently just opened an auto repair shop to complement the towing side.
And what made you, I mean, and I know you as a true, as a CFO, as a brilliant business leader. Um, you're, can you actually drive a tow truck, or do you have to know how to drive one?
I did get my license to be able to drive. I spent probably 80 hours in a truck since May so far. So, every business that I've ever been a part of, Scott, is even if I'm coming in as a chief financial officer or the owner of this business, I want to know from the ground up how the business works, right? And I think that's imperative to be a good leader, is to know all the facets of that business and how it works. So yes, I've rode in a truck. I've been able to provide the tow service to the best of my ability. I don't get in a truck every single day, but I'm willing to help out where they need me.
Now, people don't know this about Matt. Aside from being one of the most organized professional people I've ever worked with, I loved working with Matt. You are also an unusually gifted golfer. How many people are gifted golfers, gifted CFOs that then buy a tow truck business, which is a great business? The tow truck business seems like one not going away through artificial intelligence. What drew you to this business, and how excited are you about this?
I am, again, my dream has always been to own something. I have the entrepreneurial blood in me. My grandpa, to your point, Scott, built a golf course where I'm from in Southeast Missouri when I was about 4 years old. And so my dad helped run that business. My mom also had her own physical therapy business. So I feel like just growing up, it was something that I knew that I wanted to do. I just didn't know what that might be. And you are spot on when you talk about AI and what that looks like in the world today. And the tow truck industry, auto repair industry, although you can use AI to help with maybe from a dispatching standpoint and technology standpoint, but it's nothing that in my lifetime, my kids' lifetime, that AI is going to be able to take over. And we're going to always have to have these people on the road providing the service to people that break down or need a battery change or a tire repair of some sort. So it was very intriguing to me. And I've talked to a lot of people when I was going through this process on how we are getting ready to see the biggest change in generational wealth in the history, just due to all of the baby boomers having businesses like a tow truck business or a roofing company or an HVAC company. And these people are wanting to retire. And we've seen private equity get into these different businesses, and people like myself of taking the opportunity to own something themselves. So I'm very excited about what the future holds when we see these baby boomers, start to retire and start selling these businesses, of what the future holds.
Thank you. And you are a quintessential terrific leader. You work well with people. You're very smart. You're very supportive. When you think about running a business, what are the most important things that you have to do as a leader, as an owner? So many of your skill sets apply naturally to this because so much of it is retaining good people, cultivating the good people, having them do their job, and you're the kind of person that people like to work for or with. What are the traits and leadership lessons that you've sort of gained over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I really live by the servant leadership mentality, and I think it's so important. And I'm always one where I come from a very small town in southeast Missouri, and I don't have the pedigree that others have, but I've always tried to outwork people and also treat people with respect. And I think as a leader, being a servant leader, like I said, riding in the tow trucks or being here day in and day out, or even when I was a CFO, giving the opportunity for people to succeed. Scott, you know me, I've never had the ego. I've always been, treat people how you want to be treated. I know it's the grade school lesson that we've all learned, but it goes so far in business, especially in services businesses, where you've got to have the right people and you got to meet them where they are in their journey, right? And some people want to grow and they want to be leaders, and others just want to kind of be the doers. And it's okay to have both because you need both in the organization. But as a leader, you have to understand where they're at, where they want to go on their journey, and you help them get there, right? And so I have just lived by that. I've said, look, I'll get in the weeds of anything that I feel is needed, but I can also be at the highest level. But no one would know that, right? I treat everyone the same, no matter what the role is in the organization. And I think that's how you become successful, whether you own your own business or you're a senior leader in any organization.
And you've been through different businesses where they've been involved in acquisitions, but there's nothing like buying your own business with your own money. Talk a little bit about, any setbacks or challenges or lessons from buying the business. It's almost never that things go as exactly as planned, but talk about maybe any stories that come out of having acquired this business and any original, challenges and how you're dealing with them and how you think about them.
Yeah, I think for me, again, not coming from the transportation automotive industry and not having a ton of experience there is one, the learning curve for me, to just understand the business, what we're trying to do. We are a big provider with AAA, and we do about 5 to 7,000 tows per month with AAA just here in Missouri. And so understanding how they operate, what is important to them, what is important to us, how do we keep drivers motivated at the end of the day. So for me, it was the learning curve of stepping into a completely new industry. How do I learn that? And it was important for me, Scott, and I've done this at every organization that I've went into, is I don't know everything, right? And I'm a sponge. So the first 90 days, I want to know the good, the bad, the ugly. Where are your guys' challenges? What can I do to come in and help? How can I be an asset to the organization and not come in and dictate things that I just don't know, right? And so I really think you always take that step back. And so that's what I've had to do here is I wanted to bring a corporate feel into a organization that hasn't had it before, but I also knew that that's not always the right way to operate. So what I've been able to do is take challenges from a payroll perspective or just a perspective of providing the best service and getting aligned with AAA's values and aligning our organization with the same values. How do we do that? And that just comes through a ton of conversations with the people that have been in this business, and then me bringing a new perspective based on my past experiences as well. So there's nothing that I could pinpoint to say like this has been an issue. It's more of really just the learning curve and making sure that I'm listening to the people that have been part of this organization for so long, and then how do we improve it based on my experiences in the past.
Thank you. And you've worked before with what were essentially mom and pop businesses that grew really well under terrific leadership, but then at some point needed that next level of sort of systems and so forth to keep it moving in the right direction. And it sounds like, quite frankly, that this is similar, a great, great business. I can't believe 5 to 7,000 tows a month. That's a serious business. And sort of how do you sort of take those first 100 days so you handle people well? You don't try and do everything on day one. You don't upset the apple cart, but start to move it towards one more level of professionalism. Any sort of advice there?
Yes. So the first thing that I always do is I want to understand the processes and what is manual, right? Because there is a play for technology in any business. And so things as simple as writing out manual invoices for tow sheets and doing payroll manually and doing just those types of things and other administrative tasks that the drivers were doing, how do I take that off of their plate, right? And so putting in the right system where electronic invoices are automatically text to our client, they can pay the invoices all electronically. It goes through an app. It's the little things like that, Scott, where in any business, you've been doing something for so long, it's second nature to a lot of the people, but in reality, you're not gaining any efficiencies and you're doing it very manual. So how do you use technology to increase your productivity, increase your efficiency, take the administrative burden off the people and their job on a day-to-day basis, where ultimately will make them happier, will make you more money because they're not spending time doing these manual processes. And it's just a win-win all the way around the organization.
Thank you. And Matt, and I've known Matt for years now, and one of the best people I know. Take a second on what advice you would give to other operators of small or mid-sized businesses. What are some of the things you've learned over the years? What advice would you give to people?
Yeah, I think one, it's always being aligned with your other leaders and even the other employees of your organization. And I am a firm believer that you can't share everything, but transparency is huge. Knowing the direction of the business and telling your employees, like, look, this is where we're trying to get to. This is the growth plan. This is where you fit into that growth plan. This is what I need from you. This is what I'm going to do for you, right? It is just imperative that I've seen it in multiple organizations where they tried to kind of hide behind the curtain the direction of the company and where it's going, and to some degree the financial picture. But I've always been one where, look, if you set that common goal and say, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to move forward, and this is what I need from you, and if we do this, this is the reward that we're all going to gain in the end, and just aligning that from day one, everyone's on the same page. Everyone has the same common goal. No one's guessing about their future, what the business is doing. It just, again, it aligns everyone in the fact of we're moving forward and we're going to conquer the next hurdle that comes up, and this is how we're going to do it. So I'm a very big believer in being transparent where you can, understanding you can't always share everything, but have those conversations because people want to know what's in it for them and where do they fit into the long-term picture.
And how important is constant and healthy communication? And talk about constant and healthy communication versus communication that you might not view as healthy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is every day meeting with my COO and my general manager and some of my employees in the dispatch office to say, okay, what does the day look like, right? Where do you need my help? Where can I support you the most? Do we need more resources? What does that look like? If you had call offs, what are we doing to fix the problems at hand? And that's what's so much different, Scott, of being a business owner versus where I was as a chief financial officer is my day would be bogged down with meeting after meeting after meeting, which is great. But to your point, some of that is unhealthy communication and the fact of the world that we live in, you have a meeting to have a meeting. And what is the outcome of that meeting? Does it need to be an hour? Can we get it done in 15 minutes, right? What are the main topics that we need to focus on? Being a business owner, I don't have very many meetings during the day, so it's a lot more blocking and tackling as those things come up. And it's productive in the way of, okay, there's a problem, let's go fix it. But I'm always thinking, okay, how do we not have this again? How do we be proactive in that regard? Let's discuss the situation so that we can get ahead of it. So my communication is never to fault someone or say, you screwed up. Let's never do that again. It's what did we learn from this, right? We are all going to fail at some point in time. So how you communicate those failures to make people want to change their behavior and continue to grow as an employee and a human is just so important, right? It's the motivational factor of when you have something that goes wrong, how do you explain that and how do you motivate that employee to learn from that mistake?
And Matt, do you set goals week to week, year to year? Do you think about 5-year plans? How do you think about those things?
I do. I think everyone should think about where do I want to get to, right? I had a goal when I bought this business of saying I want to grow it 5 times what it is today, but knowing that 5 years down the road, a lot can change. So I think it's important to say, look, this is where I want to go. But for me, it's probably more of a weekly or monthly type of plan to say, look, this is what I want to accomplish this month. We ended this month. This is how we were on service quality and our timing to get to a certain member and how can we improve that, right? And because if we can improve that a little bit month over month over month, then that big picture of trying to grow this company 5x is absolutely achievable, right? And knowing that we're not going to do that overnight, but it is the day to day and the week to week, month by month, saying, how can we improve just one thing every single month? And I've always challenged my employees, whether it be as a CFO or a business owner, to say, what do you think we can do? What are you seeing out there? Or what are you seeing in the financials? Or what are you seeing with the operational issues of the business? Because those are the people that are in the day to day. And now those are the people that you need to listen to, because those are the ideas where, as a leader, you can say, you know what, I hear you. This is what we can fix. This is going to take a little bit more time. Maybe this fits into a 6-month plan because it's a bigger need or a bigger want or ask. So for me, I really focus no more than a month out, really mainly a week to week, month over month, but then knowing that I have a 12-month goal, I have a 5-year goal. This is what I need to grow in order for us to get there.
Matt, for me, it is a real highlight to get to visit with you. You're currently on as sort of small business leader of the month, but that's almost a mistake. I can't wait to feature you within the next 6 months as midsize or large business leader of the month. And again, that's just a stat. The reality is you are a tremendous leader. I am so excited for your acquisition, your leadership of A1 Towing in Missouri. So excited to visit with you. And so I can't say proud. It's not fair for me to be proud of you, but I've served side by side with you. I know what a wonderful person you are. It feels like old home week to me. Congratulations on your success. And we're so excited to keep on watching this and watch it evolve.
Thank you so much, Scott. It was a pleasure catching up and meeting with you. And I'm honored to be part of this small business group. And I'm with you. I hope that the small business turns into a large business in the near future. So.
We see it coming. It sounds like it's already on the way. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Chanel, thank you very much on the production end. Thank you very, very much.
All right. Take care.